Today's lab is the Evaporation and Intermolecular Attractions Lab. Disregard the computer number 9 lab. What we're going to be working with today are a couple chemicals called butanol and pentane and hexane and also propanol. There is a test tube rack like it says right there. It's got all 4 chemicals already stoppered off and ready to go. It also has some information as far as the masking tape and the 6 pieces of filter paper. Well, I got a couple pieces of filter paper. I'm going to go through as much of the initial steps in the procedure to kind of skip over some stuff that you honestly can just do on your own if you were actually here. The pre-lab exercise you should have already done. You should have already filled it in. That's this data table right here. You should already get to see what a structural formula is, what molecular weight is, which you already know what it is, and then also to identify if what chemicals in here have hydrogen bonding going on. We're going to be filling in this data table as the lab goes on. You're going to be filling it in. I'm not going to be filling it in. And we're going to now start the procedure. To start off, it already says that we're going to obtain some goggles. We already have our goggles on. We're going to connect the probes to the computer interface, which has already been done. We have the interface right there. We have the probes already marked off or plugged in, and we also have them taped together so we know which one is temperature number 1 and temperature number 2. And so then it says to find the file, which we have done. This is what it looks like when you first start. You open it up. It has Evaporation and Intermolecular Attractions, its title. And then it also has the temperatures reading right there. Those are the actual temperatures that they are reading right at this very moment. Step number 3, it says to take some filter paper and wrap them around the very ends of the temperature probes. And then we're going to put them into the test tubes. So we're going to start off with our alcohols. The first test tube is propanol. The one over here is butanol. And we are going to put our temperature probes right in there just like so. Here it comes. I'm going to set you aside here so you can see what I'm doing. Take the stoppers, pop them off, just like so. I'm going to put propanol, slippery darn things, propanol right into my test tube. Let it sit in the liquid to kind of soak. I'm going to put temperature probe number 2 into my butanol, just like so. And we're going to let it sit there for 30 seconds, just like the instructions say, so it can get up to temperature. After those 30 seconds, we're going to start to hit to collect. All right, just like you see right there, we got temperature probe number 1, temperature probe number 2, all sitting in the liquid, just like so. Letting it get to temperature. At the moment, the temperatures are reading right around 21.7 and 21.5. So as you can see, I've gone through the 15 seconds to kind of set the temperature. You can start to see the temperatures are starting to drop. The reason why it's dropping is because now I have the temperatures outside of the test tubes, and you can see them right about there. Can I zoom out a bit? All right, so you can see temperature probe number 1, temperature probe number 2 are now in the air and are letting it evaporate. As I continue on, the temperature is going to drop, and it's continuing to drop. Like the instructions say, let's keep watching this until you notice the temperatures are not dropping anymore. Notice one is dropping more than the other, so we might have some intermolecular forces acting on this other chemical other than the other one. So we're going to let that go for a while, and I'm going to get back to you in a second. In step number 7, it says when both temperatures have reached minimums and have begun to increase, click the stop button. All right, that's what it says right there to end. Data collection, click the statistics button. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to click the statistics button, and we're going to see a little dialog box pop up. It's going to ask us what's the latest temperatures, so I'm going to click on both of them. When I do that, this is what ends up happening. I have a data box there and a data box there. I got them crisscrossed, but oh well. As far as the statistics button, this is connected to the red line. That red line is my propanol, and you can go and record your minimum and maximum temperatures. You see the minimum and maximum, that's your propanol again. Alrighty, I think that's long enough for you. And then I go down to this dialog box and I see this is the maximum and the minimum temperatures for my butanol. See that it's kind of barely changed. Alrighty, and now we're going to start all over again and do the hexanes, which are sitting right over here. We got our pentane and our hexane sitting in these 2 test tubes. So here we go. So I've skipped some steps. I already went to step number 8 and went to the experiment tab and clicked the stored latest run. The graph just kind of makes the lines a bit thinner. For you, you're going to read step number 9 where it says for each liquid subtract the minimum temperature from the maximum temperature. You should do that on your own. Then it says step number 9, roll the rubber band up. Yep, I did all that. We're going to repeat steps 3 through 9 for the pentane and the hexane. So I'm going to put my probe number 1 and probe number 2 into the pentane and the hexane respectively, and we're going to repeat steps 3 through 9. So here it goes. So on to steps 3 through 9. Here it goes. I'm going to take my pentane and my hexane. I'm going to start collecting my data, just like shown here. Just like that. Click it. I start to see data being collected. It's going to go for about 15 seconds, and I'm going to remove my temperature probes. There it goes. Just try to be not as shaky as possible. Get this on the camera. You see the 2 temperature probes sitting there. And here it goes. I take both of them. Yep, the rubber bands both broke. That's no big deal. As long as the paper both sits there. We're going to let them sit. Try to tape them down as secure as possible so they're not moving all over the place. Just like so. And now, we wait. As you can see, the temperature is dropping significantly more than the other one, or the other ones. So here we go. I'm not going to waste any more time here. I'm just going to let it go and eventually clean up the graph so you can see the final data, you can collect it, and then you basically finish the conclusion questions afterwards. So I got distracted and let these temperature probes evaporate a little bit too long. The software is maxed out to whatever temperature or whatever time it can go for, about 300 seconds. So if you look closely, the graph is now gone. It's run itself right off of the visible picture, the screen. So we need to fix that. So we go to this little button right here where the big A is, and it's called auto scale. So we're going to make it auto scale because we want to fit all the prettiness of this picture in there. So you can see where we have quite a bit longer graph here. You can totally see how it's dropped. And it actually dropped. Look at the temperature. It dropped below the freezing point of water, which is that's pretty cool, just from evaporating. So the green line that you see right there, that's not my pentane, but that's my hexane. Pentane is the one that dropped way below the freezing point of water. That's pretty impressive, right? Just from evaporating. It was sitting here right on the temperature probe, and it just evaporated, and it dropped its temperature all the way down to below 0 degrees Celsius. So all you got to do next is to record your information. So here it comes. I'm going to hit the stats button. It's going to ask me which ones do I want. I want the latest ones on this window. And I click OK. And it awkwardly puts these boxes in a weird spot, so I can't really clearly see that. You can see that they're kind of crossed over, so fix that. And so the green line that you see, again, that's my hexane. You see the maximum temperature. Let's move my hand out of the way. Maximum temperature, and then the minimum temperature. You want to subtract. And then you take the other one. This is my pentane, and you can see where the maximum temperature is 21.86 and the minimum was 7.957. So now you have those values. After you've done that, you want to think about what is going on in this graph. Why on earth are the temperatures dropping so much? Because of the different chemicals. Think about the 3 intermolecular forces that we've discussed in class, such as dipole-dipole forces, London dispersion forces, as well as hydrogen bonding. Think about what all of those factor into the molecules. Think about your pre-lab table that you filled in previously, and answer the 4 questions that follow in the conclusion section on the last page. One final thing is to label your graph. So I'm going to label the graph. I'm going to make a copy of this, and whoever is doing this via video, you should have a printout of this graph along with their labels, and you should be attaching it to your final conclusion questions. And then you are done.